Have you ever heard of somebody who abducts little boys?
Room below's got some horrible smells.
We don't want to go in there.
What are you doing?
Complimentary room service. There is that.
Hello and welcome to another Dollar Store Drive-In. I'm your host, Laura.
I'm Joel.
And we're the Newly Duds. If this is your first time tuning in, this is a half-hour chat show where we talk about a movie that we've watched. And if this is not your first time, welcome back. But if it is your first time and you're trying to figure out, where you can find more information, or I should say, if you're listening to this, because this is also a podcast that we upload to Spotify, you can find us at thenewlydeads.com for all of our content and information. Mr. Newly Dead does blog posts on movies that he reviews besides the ones that we talk about here. I also do some, blog posts. It's been a little bit since I've done one, but I like to review small businesses, local artists, small artists. You don't have to necessarily be local to where we're located. But so if you're interested in having me review you, or just, kind of talk a little bit about you and do a little promo for your wares that you like to sell, you can contact me at contact@thenewlydeads.com. So yeah. Awesome. But this is a half-hour chat show, so we're going to talk about a movie, and we've got some criteria for that movie. The first one being that it needs to be under $5, it needs to be a horror, thriller, or sci-fi genre movie, and it needs to be a movie that neither of us have ever watched before. Yeah. This week, we've watched a movie called Motorhome Massacre: The Road Ends Here. This is not representative of the movie that we watched.
Zero
representation
of the film we watched.
Yeah, like not even. Well, they did have a motorhome.
Yeah, but it was all like contained in one vehicle. That's a tow, like an Airstream kind of thing.
Yeah,
and there was no chainsaw.
No,
and the guy that was doing the murdering, the bad person, the killer. Yeah. Let's put it that way.
No.
Didn't look like that.
No.
So, I don't.
Interesting. But yeah, so I think what I can do now is I'm going to read the synopsis of this bad boy, and then we will get on with the getting. Get on with the getting.
Get on with the getting.
Okay. This is not even right. Like on the top of it, it says all they made was one wrong turn.
I mean, they're trying to like be like, hey, we're like wrong
I guess
turn.
They did kind of make a little bit of a wrong turn. Yeah.
I mean,
okay. All right.
Do you want to mince words, maybe?
Yes. All right. You ready for this? Prepare for the gripping story of 7 young friends who climb aboard a vintage RV and ride straight into hell. Sabrina is just coming off of a recent breakup, and she agrees to join her friends for a weekend away, hoping she can escape and relax. As the group journey deeper and deeper into the woods, they do not realize that they're being stalked by a military-grade, machete-wielding psychopath. And as the killer gets closer and the night becomes darker, it becomes clear that there is no escape, and what started as a thrill ride quickly becomes a terrifying torture chamber. Mm-hmm.
We have thoughts.
We do have some thoughts on this. It's a Lionsgate.
It was a Lionsgate releasing, yeah.
Interesting. Where did we find this?
We found that at Hidden Treasures.
Hidden Treasures. All right. Yeah. So we always try to make sure that we give some credit where credit is due. And, if we find something that's not, especially at like Dollar Store, Dollar Tree, those kind of places, we usually like to make sure that they get a good shout out. So Hidden Treasures is located here in the Winnebago County area. So it's actually located in Loves Park. We are located in Rockford. And so if you're in this vicinity in Northern Illinois, Southern Wisconsin area, the cheese curtain, as they told me, where Southern Wisconsin's at, please stop on down to Hidden Treasures. It's a huge store of different, what would you call it? Like a, not flea market. It's not really a flea market. It's like a antique, vintage resale kind of place. They've got vendors galore. It will take you at least a couple hours if you're like me and Joel, where we like to kind of go through each of the booths and kind of pick through things. They've got stuff from like vintage toys. They've got antiques if you are into that kind of stuff. They do have some people who make and sell art and crafts and things like that as well. It's a very interesting store, and we highly recommend that you come and check it out.
Something for everybody.
And we found some crazy movies and stuff. So we have enough stuff to last us for a lifetime.
Like 2 years
at least 2 years. So,
minimum,
yeah. Hidden Treasures. Yeah. So that being said, should we watch the trailer?
Yep, I guess so.
I guess it is time for that already.
It's time.
Yeah. So let's just make it a motorhome. I mean, it makes sense. You know, give it a little beep beep, toot toot, that kind of thing.
Beep beep, toot
beep beep, toot toot, and yeah. We'll pause it now. You guys can watch the trailer. We're gonna watch it with you. Mr. Newly Dead likes to throw in some fun little raspberries and things now and again. You'll hear sometimes different music, sometimes different words. So that's why we say if you're listening to this on Spotify, sometimes you'll hear some strange noises, and it makes more sense when you see it in person. So yeah, you can check us out. We are on several different networks, including YouTube. So yeah. All right, I'm going to pause it. We'll be right back.
Right. For real. How's it going, Benji?
Don't hit my car.
Don't hit the car. Will you relax?
Hey, you're not excited to see me at all, are you, baby?
So sweet and cute, too.
Roger, I really don't think this is a good idea.
Parents are gone for 6 weeks, man. They're never gonna know we took the motorhome out for one weekend.
Y'all going to Black Creek, are you? There was some trouble up there last night.
What kind of trouble?
Dead trouble.
Who's out there?
Be happening again.
And we're back. Thanks for sticking with us. Mr. Newly Dead, you got some notes?
I do.
All
so
right.
whenever we watch a movie, I'll take notes, and that way we have a little bit of a guideline, especially if there's a little lapse between when we watch it and when we record. That way we know kind of what happened, beats, thoughts on it, things that were funny, things that were not so funny, and other things. So if you want to check out my notes, you can go to our aforementioned website, and Mrs. Newly Dead collects them at the end of the year and posts them. We have 2023 and 2024. Both available on the site currently, so you can go check those out, get some insight behind the curtain, as it were. Not the cheese curtain, because we're not in Wisconsin, but
I thought that was funny.
Pizza curtain. I don't know, whatever it is in Rockford.
Rockford does have good pizza.
We do have good pizza.
We have a lot of pizza places.
A lot of pizza
Very
places.
Italian, very Swedish in this area. So.
Yes, if you like
Also
lingonberries and stuff like that, then
Yep.
you're in heaven. Anyway, so at this point, and Mrs. Newly Dead also this year has vowed to take notes for the entire year, and so far she has not
Good.
missed a single week.
I have not, including this week.
Despite if she falls asleep, she still takes notes.
I do.
Um,
And like last night, I was actually painting a different painting. So I don't have a ton of notes on here, but I did do a little bit of something.
she did take some notes,
Yeah.
just to make sure she stuck with it. So at this point, I'll show her what I've got here, and she will describe.
You have
what
a
she sees
monkey
here.
with like big saucer saucer face.
I don't know what's going on there. I just was working on
It
cross
says
hatching again. So.
Pig's feet and fart. Oh yeah, and then just a little guy going meh, meh.
Yeah, I was working on the kind of cross hatching.
I like
sort
that.
of
Yeah, he's
thing,
cute.
So he's got kind of a thing happening. What you got?
Not really much. I mean, I was painting, so I just used some of my leftover paints, and I was gonna make these into like little faces and stuff, and like like this little guy.
He's like,
But yeah, I do have it says Motorhome Massacre there on the top.
He likes doing the name out in kind of an illustrative letter.
Yeah,
sort of
and I
thing.
just used some leftover paint and things like that. So I don't know.
Leftovers.
Maybe I'll go back and do some more art over top of the watercolors that I did. This is not watercolor paper, so I was like, it seemed fine though.
It did okay, all things considered.
All things considered.
So, Motorhome Massacre is from 2005, currently sitting at 2.8 out of 10 on the Internet Movie Database. It might be a little generous.
I agree.
We'll get to that.
Maybe
though,
they had a lot of friends.
They might have a lot of friends in that motorhome. So this was written and directed by Alan Wilbanks, who is known for writing this movie and directing this movie, and one other thing that he wrote and directed called Evil Keg.
Keg?
Keg.
Like a beer.
Like a beer keg.
All right.
Tap the keg, you die. I don't know what the tagline is, but there you go, Alan. If you don't already have one, I'm sure you do, because that's not a recent film. So this stars one Shan Holloman, who was in the 2004 film called Chosen. The reason I said that is because there's more than one movie with the word Chosen in it. Ponytail. And Jimmy Part 1, Did You Get One? And then some shorts. So I don't know what Jimmy Part 1, Did You Get One is, but sounds
Like
great.
Jimmy Crack Corn.
And I don't care.
You don't care.
Then we have Nelson Bonilla, Bonilla. Bonilla, is that like a bony gorilla? A Bonilla? Is it Bonilla? I'm sure that's how it's pronounced. But who was in Let's Be Cops? That's on the shelf. Fantastic comedy film with two of the main stars of New Girl. So if you've never seen it, highly recommended. It's a good time. I've been telling you about it, and we haven't actually watched it yet. I think my kid would like it too. Actually,
Put it on the list.
They were in Red One, which was the Christmas action movie. It was just out last year.
Yeah. Who is this?
Nelson Bonilla.
Is he a writer?
No, he's one of the stars. I don't know which character he is from the movie, but
I wonder if he's the guy that said he was the famous guy.
Oh, the guy that looked like he was playing like a teenager, but he looked like he was about 43.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. He was also in Insurgent, which was part of the Divergent series, which again, another big film. He was in Creed, another big movie, the Rocky Balboa spinoff, which there's 3 of those now with Michael B. Jordan. And a whole lot of good TV. Now, I wrote good TV because there's a lot of shows that he's on that are all real nice, Clark. I didn't write down what shows they were specifically. I just remember going through and going, wow, okay, cool. I just wrote good TV.
A lot of good TV.
This also stars Justin Gear, who is kind of the lead guy, the big toothy guy, who looks like he was the one that was driving the RV. It was his RV.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I just didn't think of him with big teeth.
He had big, shiny teeth. He looked like somebody that I've seen in other things, but I looked him up and I didn't recognize any of his other films. So he was in something called Badland, not to be confused with the Terrence Malick film Badlands. This guy wasn't even alive when that was made. All Hallows Eve, Lord of the Harvest. So there is All Hallows Eve, the original one, which is the introduction of Art the Clown. So if you've ever seen that, then you know that. But it became a franchise, and he's in one of the series franchise. I think it was the second one, maybe. I don't know if there's 3 now or 2.
Cool.
And This Old Machine.
This old box.
So it's somewhere between Bob Villa and
oh my gosh.
The Living Color. We'll just go with that.
Yeah.
Damon Wayans.
Antoine or something.
Yeah, Antoine and This Old Box.
Yeah.
And then finally we have Greg Corbett, who was in the 2008 remake One Missed Call that we've discussed.
Oh yeah.
I have the trilogy of the original Japanese films on the shelf because it's a Takeshi Miike joint. He was in Who is Killing the Cheerleaders, which is a whole lot of movies about cheerleaders biting the dust. I don't know, it's a weird trope. And Full Count, which I'm guessing is about either wrestling or boxing.
Or arm wrestling.
I don't know. Maybe it's like what's that Sylvester Stallone arm wrestling movie.
Over the top.
Over the top. Yeah, you got to turn the hat back around and get in there. Get it. Go get it.
Go get it.
Go get it now. All right. So at this point, my lovely wife turns to me and she says,
What'd you think?
all right. So I started off my notes here by writing stabby cowbell, tent Jason style campground murder stolen ? Because from the beginning of the film, there was a lot of stabbing. There was the use of cowbell. There was a tent. There was a Jason style campground murder. And the reason I say that is if you've ever seen, they used it twice. There's one of the films, which I forget which one it is. I think it's part 6, where he ties up a girl in a sleeping bag, hoists her up on a tree, and then proceeds to beat her to death and then burn her in the fire. Terrible way to die, but very creative kill if you're into horror films. They revisited that with 2 people getting killed that way in Jason X. So similar thing happens. They hoist them up inside of a tent and then just proceed to stab them over and over in the tent with a machete. So very much felt like a riff and or rip off of that. But I knew from that point that we were in for a ride. The opening song lasts forever.
Yeah.
Like they show the opening song and the people getting in the RV starting off, and then they cut to another scene. Then they cut back and the song is still going on. They cut to a different scene. And then they cut back and the song is still going on and the credits are rolling. They cut to something else. Then they cut back one more time and the song is ending. Credits are ending. And meanwhile, it's like 15 minutes into the movie and you're like,
what's going on?
What the heck happened? And I wish I could remember what the song was. I should have wrote it down, but
I remember that they were playing that one song that we were like joking around saying that was their whacking song or whatever.
the song. Yeah. This one had something to do with like beer and I don't know, some sort of like camping song, I guess.
Yeah.
And
it had weird music.
There was a lot of music in it and it was very 2008 or 5.
Yeah.
I think we both agreed that pretty much every character in the film, we wouldn't have minded seeing them get killed.
Yep.
I know that's a horrible thing to say about, we value human life here.
Of course.
But in this film, there wasn't a single likable character, I don't think.
No.
Maybe the dog.
Yeah, and we didn't even get to see them that much.
I think the dog is the only one that we felt any sort of like concern or caring for.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
There was a joke about... There was a lot of throwaway jokes in this that were not funny, nor were they anything that they shouldn't have been thrown away. The guy where he says, you're okay there, Jeff Foxworthlessness.
Yeah.
And we turned to each other and I'm like, what did he say? And he said, Jeff Foxworthlessness. And I went,
it was just Jeff Foxworthless.
Oh, was there no ness? It was just worthless?
Yeah.
We're like, that's a real knee slapper.
Yeah.
I guess. They pull into the campground because they go away. They stop in a convenience store type thing. They get harassed by the guy behind the counter. He's trying to sell them pig's feet. He bites on one of them, which makes a weird crunching noise, which I don't think pig's feet are supposed to crunch. I don't know.
I've never had a pig's foot.
Right? I haven't either. But I'm pretty sure, they're like chicken wings, sort of, except pickled. So then they pull into this, the guy's leading them around and he's like, this is the campground, I think. And they pull in, and as soon as they pull in, the park ranger is like, well, you can't leave now. There's an open murder investigation. And I'm like, no cops.
Yeah.
There's no like crime scene investigation unit there. There's just the one park ranger who has no real authority, no gun, no walkie-talkie, just a really
And if there's an open murder
uniform.
investigation, wouldn't you want those people to get the heck out of there?
He's like, well, once you're in the campground, then you have to stay because you're in the campground and that's the rule.
That's why I said that the one wrong turn thing or whatever. I was like, yeah. I'm like, I get that, why they said one wrong turn.
But they're like, you saw us pull in. We just pulled in. And he's like, yep, but you're in now, so you can't leave. So you got to find a spot and park up for the night. We're like, what kind of logic is this?
Yeah, no logic.
Made no sense. Now, there was one character that was very racist, in our opinion, but he kept going, shabba-doo, shabba-day.
Yeah.
Which kind of made us laugh because we sometimes we'll just say shabba-doo.
And then
shabba-day.
calling, like, lots of females and stuff like that all the time.
A lot of, the guy was, he needed to.
I think he was trying to be funny, or like he was supposed to be like a funny like character, but it just came off as being very like inappropriate, and appropriating other people's culture in a like really stereotypical, like negative sort of way.
I mean, I could see where that character could perhaps have a place if it's written properly and it's portrayed in a certain way, but it was just such a like. I didn't think he was comfortable with the lines he
I'm
was
wondering
given.
if it was almost supposed to be like a parody
Of the character, like that type
no,
of
just
character.
the whole movie itself. Like like that. At least they wrote that character as maybe being like a stereotypical like parody, and like all of the characters were kind of stereotypical of like what a slasher kind of movie would be.
Maybe.
But the rest of the movie didn't fit with a parody. Like they were like clearly trying to make a horror movie. But having that character do the way that he was, it came across as just being like, all right, that's.
Well, and I didn't get any sort of like tongue firmly planted in cheek sort of vibe. It was just kind of like, we're trying to be serious, but maybe not, question mark. I don't know.
Right.
Then they stole a line from Scream and rewrote it. And they said, I'll gut you like a flounder. Like, okay. There's a horrible acting, horrible effects, horrible music editing. The sound editing was bad. The killer, Laura predicted who the killer was like,
in the beginning.
10 minutes into it, 15 minutes into it.
Yeah.
Once all the characters have been introduced, she's like, yep, that's the killer. And I'm like, I don't know. I think it might be this person. And she's like, nope, it's that person. She was right. She usually is.
Not usually, but.
You've got a really good radar for that. And you talk about me seeing a lot of movies, but you've got like.
It's more fun when I'm wrong, because then I'm like, oh, like we watched a show recently that I thought it was going to be this person that was the killer, and it ended up being like, I don't know. I had suspicions that it could have been the killer that it was, but yeah.
And even up to the end, I was like, no, I don't think so. I think it's still this person.
And then as soon as it like came out, I was like, I told you. Yeah. I was like, I knew it was that person.
I try to suspend disbelief, but she just has a sixth sense about it. I see how they came up with this movie.
Evil.
Oh, yikes.
Just kidding.
And I don't know what I meant by that, but seriously, I don't
what
know.
What did you say?
I see how they came up with this movie.
Mm.
And I guess, I don't know, without giving away anything, I don't know. The whole time I just kept saying, seriously, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
And all the way up to the end, even the end, like the last shot of the film, we're like, what is this? What is happening? Why is this happening? Like it should have ended, but no, they had to add one more capper on it, which just made zero sense.
Odd choice at the very end. Like, yeah, made zero sense.
I think my favorite part of the film, if I can give it a favorite part, is when she kept hitting the killer with a cast iron skillet, and it kept going bang every time they hit them. Bang. It just kept going bang, and that became comical because of the sound effect.
Cast iron skillet would not make that kind of a tinny like noise. Yeah,
but it was still funny.
Yeah.
So needless to say, a bunch of people get killed. Some people get away. There's more than one final person. The ending is ambiguous and dumb, and we were really very happy when it was over. Mm-hmm. We did incidentally watch the alternate ending, the alternate beginning, and the making of. The making of was more entertaining than the film.
Yeah, I had fun watching the making of.
And the alternate ending added nothing to it. It was basically the same ending with one other twist to it that was even more dumb.
Yeah.
And the alternate opening was just kind of like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, it was fun watching like the different people in the extra thing that we watched, because they were being funny.
If they would have done it that way,
yeah, that's why I thought maybe it's supposed to be a parody a little bit. After I watched that, because they were just nobody was taking it seriously, so I thought it was that actually made me appreciate the movie more. That's actually in my final thought, kind of.
Which ultimately, the only fun we had with this was the mocking of it, because it was that bad, in my opinion. So,
do you have final thoughts?
I do. I said the ending was the cork in the wine bottle of.
Oh. I said this was a silly movie, and everyone at least knows it was bad, and they gave it their all, but it was not great. That was kind of
Wow,
all
you
over
had
the
a
place. with
pretty
my notes.
positive spin there. I couldn't find anything positive about this.
The
film.
only reason I wrote that is because we watched the
the
you
making,
know the making of, and I was like, okay, everybody understands that they're in a movie that's not going to be a great movie.
It seemed that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they gave a lot of credit to the people behind the camera in the making of,
They
which I thought
did.
was nice. They had as much screen time as the actors did, actually.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
anyway.
At the end. All right. So, what would you give it on a scale out of 5/10?
Tense.
Because it's camping.
So if I was to pitch a tent for this film, I ended up with a 0.01 out of 5, and that was just for the frying pan. I gave it a 0.01 for the. That's it.
I gave it a negative 2.5.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Not a great movie.
No.
I also wrote that it was dumb.
Dumb, da dum, dum, dum.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you don't want to watch this movie, what do you recommend?
So I tried to think of films that involved a large number of people in a motorhome that somehow get into a situation where they end up getting killed. That was my guideline, and there's a lot of them, but I ended up landing on 2016's 31 by Rob Zombie.
Oh.
Because they start out in a motorhome and they end up in a very bad situation, and
Yeah.
and there's a chainsaw in it. Actually, there's multiple chainsaws in it, and
This one did not.
This one did not, and I really
cover
wanted a
shows that there
chainsaw.
is. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was a machete, very, 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 very foamy, made out of foam and plastic machete.
Oh yeah,
they were using.
Forgot about that scene. Oof. Anyway, so that's where I ended up.
All right. Well, I am blowing this one up.
Heck yeah.
What? I didn't want to throw it because Shaggy's right there.
Oh, it's still over there.
Yeah. Now I'm blowing it up.
I like how she makes her own little special effects.
Yeah. All right. Well, what are we watching next week?
Next week, I have interesting hopes for this, and you don't know anything about this yet, so
I
you're
don't.
about to be.
Stay. Oh, is that Ryan Gosling? Oh, Naomi Ewan McGregor? Is this also one of the ones that we got at Hidden Treasures?
It is from 2005. It is because we bought 35 different films at Hidden Treasures. You're going to hear that a lot.
We
in the
also
next
bought a
coming weeks.
ton at Toad Hall.
We did buy a large quotient at Toad Hall. Was that a Toad Hall? I
No.
don't think so. I'm
No.
pretty sure that was Hidden Treasure. Toad Halls have a very distinct, like they're very clean. Like if you ever go to Toad Hall and buy movies, they are like
They clean the discs
super
for ya.
hardcore about making sure everything is in good shape. So,
Yeah.
yeah. This one, not that it's in bad shape, but it definitely has been loved by someone.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Anyway,
Ooh. Got a good synopsis on the
quite a
back here.
synopsis, quite a cast.
Yeah, so it's called Stay. On the front, it says you can't stay between the living and the dead.
2005, in case I didn't say that.
There's a comment here or a review or whatever that says a chilling thriller that will keep you on the edge of your seat from Access Hollywood.
Oh, an
Mhm.
actual
An
reviewer we know
actual
of.
Reviewer we know of. Okay, so there's also some cool featurettes and stuff on here, so we'll have to watch those too if we have time. Ooh, it's widescreen and full.
Oh, we'll have to watch it
Two-sided.
in both. No, we're not going to.
No. A suicidal college student and his doctor enter a twisted world of supernatural horror in Stay. Henry Lethem plans to kill himself in 3 days unless psychologist Sam Foster can stop him. Henry's been hearing disturbing voices and experiencing horrifying visions, but where does imagination end and reality begin? Sam suddenly finds that he's losing his own grip on reality as he, too, is thrust into a hellish place between life and death. With the help of his girlfriend, Sam races to unlock the terrifying secret behind Henry's waking nightmare before it's too late.
So it feels like could be supernatural. It could be thriller. It could be.
It
a little
does
bit of
say
both.
supernatural horror,
No, we'll find out. I guess.
and it also says it's a chilling thriller. So it might be thriller, horror, and not really sci-fi, but it might check most of the boxes.
It
that
kind
we
of
like to
vaguely
do.
reminds me, at least the appearance of it, of Night Watch, which was a serial killer thriller, but had very horror elements to it. But anyway,
I love all three of these actors, and I am excited. It's rated R, so there's going to be some stuff happening in there.
something.
Yeah, I'm excited. For real excited. For real excited. Yeah. Like I'm always excited, but even more so. All right. That went fast. Thank you very much for watching us, as always. And until next week.
Keep it cheap and creepy.
Bye.
Doesn't mean you should go chasing the dead.
It may be your robot, but it's my house.
I want to get a close look at these sharks.
Sounds dangerous.
I'll be careful.